What if the Internet were to go down for the entire world? Welcome. According to the renowned Pew Research Center, the number of Internet users worldwide in 1995 was about 50 million, most of whom were institutions in industrialized countries. Fast forward 20 years to 2015, and the number of Internet users exceeded 3.5 billion. 8 more years passed, and by the end of 2023, the number of users reached 5.3 billion. So, what could happen if the Internet were to go down for the entire world? Before answering that question, we need to ask another. Is it even possible for the Internet to go down for the entire world someday? Could a major catastrophe occur, like a significant earthquake or a nuclear war, leading to a complete Internet outage? The truth is, as long as Earth continues to exist, the Internet will too. The Internet is not just a trend, it has become as essential as water and electricity. Its reliance has become vital in all aspects of modern life. Even if someone attempted to shut down the Internet through deliberate sabotage, they wouldn't succeed unless a catastrophic event occurred that impacted the entire planet, like an asteroid impact similar to that which wiped out the dinosaurs. In that case, it wouldn't matter much that there was no Internet because we likely wouldn't be around anyway. However, as mentioned, if any catastrophic event were to occur, the Earth will continue, and so will the Internet. This is primarily due to the Internet's infrastructure, its network of cables and servers distributed around the globe. The way the Internet functions means it is not reliant on a single device, or even 10 or 1,000 devices. It is a network that spans the entire globe, even extending into space through satellites. While a country may block certain websites or services or cut off the Internet within its borders, this still pertains only to its own jurisdiction. Moreover, significant outages could disrupt the Internet for several countries, not just one, and this has indeed happened multiple times. One notable incident was in 2008 when a major submarine cable was cut, disrupting Internet access for several countries in the Indian subcontinent. Nevertheless, these were all technical failures that were eventually resolved. All of the above indicates that our question is merely a hypothetical and imaginative one, so there's no need to worry. The Internet is here to stay. Now, let's assume there's a button that, if pressed, would cut off the Internet for the entire world. According to researchers, if the Internet were to go down for a week, a few economic disasters would occur, but they would be manageable. Some institutions and companies might incur losses in the billions of dollars, especially those entirely reliant on the Internet, such as Meta, Google, Amazon, and others. However, all institutions, regardless of their activity, whether in the economy, trade, or security, would experience losses. In the end, everyone would manage to recover, and the world would not end or be destroyed if it existed without the Internet for a week. The real problem arises if the outage lasts longer than that. The most affected group would be Internet addicts, who have become so intertwined with the Internet that one could say their dependence has reached a pathological level. The absence of the Internet would have a significant impact on this group, as they would lose their accustomed means of communication, whether through social media, online gaming, or any activity requiring an Internet connection. The psychological damage would be considerable, with researchers predicting reports of individuals contemplating self-harm. As for many, the Internet is literally their whole life, and its absence would create a huge void that many cannot endure. Service sectors, transport and transportation. The absence of the Internet would greatly affect the transport and transportation sectors, potentially leading to complete paralysis in global transport. For instance, self-driving cars and electric vehicles would come to a standstill since all traffic, navigation, and fuel systems currently rely on digital networks that depend on the Internet. Moreover, electronic gates at city entrances would not function without the Internet, and most traffic signals would become inoperative, leading to accidents and traffic jams everywhere, which would, in turn, affect the entire world. Now, regarding airplanes, they currently rely heavily on navigation systems connected to the Internet. If the Internet were to be completely cut off, planes would likely not take off from airports, especially since one of the most crucial phases of air travel is the logistical preparations, which rely on mechanisms that use the Internet to connect their devices. If the Internet is down, this capability would be entirely disabled. In short, without the Internet, there would be no preparations, and all airports would be rendered inoperative. Additionally, airport operations depend on the Internet for booking systems, weather information, landing and takeoff data, and baggage weights. Everything is continuously updated and monitored by transport and travel companies, creating a state of constant data exchange. It would be impossible to suddenly revert to the days of fax machines and regular phones to coordinate airport operations. Not only has the old infrastructure disappeared, but the current requirements, coupled with population growth and an increase in air travel, can no longer accommodate outdated speeds. Thus, if you choose something related to aviation, air travel, and company profits, it would essentially revert to the 1980s, even though we have long left the 1980s half a century ago. Regarding e-commerce, it speaks for itself. Anyone relying on the internet for business would completely vanish from the global market and economy, from YouTube creators like us to the largest companies like Meta and Amazon. This could even affect the strongest nations, as their economies would collapse due to the end of the e-commerce era, especially since it has been noted that a country like the United States relies on the digital economy for about 33% of its GDP. The banking sector. Total economic paralysis. In the event of internet outages, this would lead to total paralysis of the global financial system. Remember the beginning of the crisis between Ukraine and Russia? What was the West threatening Russia with? If any of you were following the events, you surely heard the phrase SWIFT system. This system is essentially a global framework for bank transfers between countries. The West was threatening to disconnect Russia from using this system, thus preventing it from buying and selling. Now, imagine if the SWIFT system were shut down globally, not just for Russia. There's no doubt that this would result in a comprehensive collapse of the global economy. It's sufficient to note that if the internet were to go down for just one day, a country like the United States could lose approximately $11 billion. In conclusion, it is impossible for humanity to currently live without the internet, as it would be challenging to revert 50 years back in time. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, give a thumbs up, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for following us.